All right, we're live.
We're
Hell yeah.
back and we're here.
Yay, we did
Everyone's
it.
here today.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
What's up with you guys? Who's going to the Stampede?
No.
Try
No?
not to melt here. It's been so
Yeah,
freaking
we're
hot.
in heat wave right now. It was 35, 36 degrees Celsius yesterday.
It's our weekly, yearly heat wave right now.
I've heard they've already
outside
had
can
to
go to
put
hell.
down a bull.
Oh, way more
That
than
sounds
that.
like Stampede.
The other day they had
Yeah.
3 that they had to euthanize because of it. The rodeo, I guess. A bunch of horses
Yeah,
knocked
it's
into
always
each other
I
and
always
shit.
heard like every year like a horse had to get put down because something at the rodeo.
Some
portion.
animal always gets put down.
disgusting.
From the show.
Yep.
It is a regular occurrence.
Absolutely
Yeah,
disgusting.
Absolutely. Yeah. No. Who's the big like music performance this year?
I don't know. I know that on the free day, Billy Talent apparently is playing. So
Oh, okay. I didn't know they were still doing music. But Canada's Billy Talent.
They got
Sure.
back together a few years ago because, yeah, they split up, so it makes sense that you would assume that they weren't anymore. But
yeah.
Yeah.
Every band gets back together at some point for just a week,
yeah,
a year, a tour.
I would have gone to see
yeah.
Billy Talent. That was on the 7th. Metric was yesterday. I would have seen that, but I've seen Metric. They're good.
Yeah.
That's
Logic.
pretty big.
Logic
is, that the
is
biggest?
pretty good. Yeah, probably.
Unless
Okay.
you're into country music, probably.
Surprisingly, no.
Shocking.
I feel like the big headliner at the Stampede is never country music.
True.
I think it depends. Didn't they have Garth Brooks one year?
I think they did.
I don't
actually.
know. I don't know. I'm just assuming, but
I did see that Cowboys, the nightclub,
Yeah.
was flying in Hawk to a girl.
what?
Yeah.
And she
I
was
did
making
hear-
30,000 on that. Which
I did hear about that.
It's like, hey, get that bag, girl. Good for her. I thought that was
Jesus.
ridiculous.
Yeah, she's kind of made herself a sensation with that momentum. It's kind of crazy.
I mean, I have to assume it's like a week or two from just being like non-existent anymore. So she's got to like take it while she can.
I mean, that's how the internet usually works. So, like, I respect it, honestly.
But yeah, I wasn't expecting to see that pop up on the Calgary subreddit the other
Yeah.
day.
So funny.
Yeah, true.
All right, well, let's do the show then. Top down perspective for July 11th. I'm Sean Booker.
I'm Paul Fleck.
John Wheeler.
All right, Paul, what are you playing?
Space Marine 2 is coming out soon, and I haven't played that first game since it came out 13 years ago, and I never even finished it back then, so I decided to play through that. And by playthrough, I mean I got to the exact same spot I got to last time, and now I gotta play more.
Okay, there's a million Warhammer games. There's only 2 Space Marine games.
No, there's only one technically right now. The second one is coming out still.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well,
Yeah. Yes, there is. Specifically named Space Marine. There are other games featuring titled Space Marines in them, but yes.
Okay. Is this the best one?
It holds up incredibly well. It is just a really fun third-person hack and slash shooter type game. It's just fun killing a whole bunch of orcs that come running at you and feeling like a powerhouse, honestly. And that's what these games are.
Yeah. Well, these games they jump genres because there's always like 3 Warhammer games in production at all times, or else the world stops.
I
spinning.
don't know if this is the only third-person like shooter type game, but I think it might be still. There's a lot of RTS. There's some first-person shooters in this genre, or in this Warhammer 40k universe, but I think Space Marine might be the only third-person shooter one so far. Still.
Okay. Yeah. Before you said shooter, I was about to ask: is this a like a Dynasty Warriors? But is there a Dynasty Warriors one? Is there a Warriors?
This is the closest that they've gotten to it. It's like the same idea, but it plays like a third-person shooter. Like, it's not like millions of things attacking you and that's all you're doing, but there are corridors full of things that you have to kill. in a similar fashion.
They have a Vampire Survivors yet?
No, like but you know, that seems like a really easy thing to put together. Really easy. Yep. So that's surely coming.
I'm sure.
Yep.
Yep. Okay.
Game holds up incredibly well. Yeah, I am excited. I liked this back then. I still like it now. Like, I was actually a little bit worried that the control scheme would feel really outdated and shitty, but it's pretty responsive. It's kind of weird on PC that, like, your right click is your melee instead of your looking down sights, and that's your middle mouse button or control on the keyboard. So there's just, like, weird conventions it doesn't follow, you would think, for like a third-person shooter. Because it's old, yeah. I think it's just kind of doing its own thing, but it plays incredibly well. It's super fun. Yeah, it's just a really, really good time. It's also apparently pretty short. It looks like I'm maybe about a third of the way through, and I played for like 2 hours. So,
okay,
yeah, not bad. I'm looking forward to the second one.
That's next week?
I don't know. I haven't been keeping.
Soonish.
It's soonish. I thought it was September, but it might be any time now.
Let's see here. I'm bringing it up. September 9th.
September 9th. Okay, so almost, because the initial one was September 5th, the first one. So almost exactly 13 years, I guess, between them. Kind of interesting. I recommend it. I think it's still kind of overpriced, though. It's still like $30 to $40 Canadian on Steam without a sale. It's on sale right now for like less, which is why I bought it during the Steam summer sale.
Which is ending like any minute now.
Yeah, exactly. Every now and then, I think if you wanted to buy this game, GOG had the best deal on it. I think it's like $15 or $20 regularly there. So that's probably where I would go if you wanted to check it out.
Right.
It's cool. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Steam sale is over.
Okay.
Oh, like not okay. I thought maybe it was at like midnight or something tonight.
Yeah, I thought so too. Actually,
good to know. Did you guys buy anything on the Steam sale?
Yes. This and let me find it.
Sounds like you didn't, John.
I picked up something, but I think it was at the recommendation of someone else.
And the other game I played.
Adventures. I picked up Mini Shoot Adventures.
Oh shit! I forgot about that game.
That game's really good.
I'll pay full price. That game is
really good.
I'll pay for full price. That's fine. It looks fantastic.
I got it. I think it was 20% off if you got a bundle with a different game. So.
Okay, cool.
That's the nice thing about Steam sales is there seems to always be like a seasonal one every 2 months.
Yes, true. The other games I picked up, Bloons TD6 for $1. And I have played like 20 hours or something of it because it's just really easy to put on and listen to. It's just tower defense. That's all it is. It's you put monkeys down and they throw spears and shit at balloons. It's really basic, but you know, if you like those old Flash games and stuff and you like a tower defense, there's, I think, no better than Bloons, apparently, because I have played a lot of it while listening to podcasts and watching streams and shit. It's great. The one I wanted to
Tower Defense is good. Like every now and then I'm like, I should go play Plants vs. Zombies again.
Yeah.
The first one. Like, something like real simple about a tower defense game. It's like just complicated enough that it's not like a screensaver or a clicker or something.
Yeah. Yeah. I recommend it. Bloons TD6. It's a good one. The other game I bought was Suicide Squad because that was super cheap on the sale, and I had to know.
I was gonna say why, but if it's super cheap, I guess that makes sense.
I had to know.
Well, if you waited like a week, next week it's like free on Prime.
Oh yeah, I don't care. That's fine. I'll pay $20 or whatever for it. I was okay with it.
All right, Suicide Squad.
That game has the right writing and feel to it, but that game itself is boring as hell.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
you played some of it, John?
I had a sponsored segment for it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. So I got it for free and did a 2-hour stream of it. I agree with Paul. The writing's great.
It's very good.
Gameplay,
Rocksteady, like, you know, those Batmans, they had good writing, they had good stories and stuff. And then
same thing here.
It seems like they kind of got like forced into making a different genre game than.
Well,
than
I mean, like
really
a looter shooter, not what I would expect from Rocksteady. Like it being mainly shooter focused and, you know, needing specific ways to remove stuff or like take down like enemy shields and stuff.
So I think my biggest problem with this game is that right from the get-go, you kind of have like your intro area where you play all 4 of the Suicide Squad members that you play in this game. And the first thing you notice that they all have almost the exact same move set for movement stuff or whatever, because it is a multiplayer focused live service thing, and you should be able to play anybody and not feel like you're being left behind. They all have to be very similar in how they play, when the thing you need to do is what Guardians of the Galaxy does, and every character has kind of their strength and weakness, and switching between them in a single player paced story would make this thing incredible. So that's the first problem.
But that's a different genre, so it's like
that's I think what it originally was going to be before like people started getting their hands in and saying, how could we make money out of this thing? Because I remember they like started redoing some stuff, right, with this, like years and years back.
I don't remember it ever not being a looter shooter, but it's been in development for a long time. So, or it was in development for a long time, so I could be misremembering.
It wouldn't surprise me if like it started out as one thing, and then when we started getting whiffs of it, it became something else.
Maybe it was like just people hoping because of the Arkham games, like, oh, it's gonna be an Arkham game, like a really cool story focused thing where you play different characters that have like kind of their own skill set that make it through the story. And then people heard it was a looter shooter, and that's kind of when everybody started to turn on it immediately before it came out.
Yeah, like my recollection, and again, this game was in development for so long, so I could be misremembering, but it was like we hadn't seen anything besides like CG trailers for years.
Yeah.
And then there was something like, not last year, but like the year before that, they finally showed some gameplay, and it was like, oh, it's like it's a looter shooter, and then that's when they were like, hey, we're delaying this like 18 months.
That was the PlayStation Day of Play or whatever it was. It was one of the PlayStation Directs.
One of those, yeah, I remember. And then I remember they had a really big long delay, and it was like, holy smokes, that's nuts.
Sure. It's too bad. I think like the writing's good. I think all of the voice acting is pretty good. I feel like Tara Strong maybe like phoned it in a little bit for this one. Harley is like probably the least good out of the main 4, which is weird to say because usually she's kind of the big focus one, but the other 3 voice acting wise and writing wise are so on the money that it makes Harley look pretty bad in comparison, but she's fine.
I still find it funny that King Shark is Samoa Joe, the wrestler.
Sure. Yeah. King Shark is very good. He's the funnest to play for me because I just like his kind of like momentum based, like charging up and doing super jumps as his way of kind of quote unquote flying or whatever. So he's really, really fun. I like him. I also like his whole shtick of throwing somebody in the air and shooting them with a gun so that they explode into pieces, basically. Like, he's just fun. He's a good dude. I like that guy.
He's a great character in the Harley Quinn show.
Yeah, he's great. He's one of my favorites in Suicide Squad Isekai too. He just eats people. It's a good time.
I've only watched the first 2 episodes of that, and there's not much of a character there.
Yeah, he eats people. That's his character. When he'll wake up, he sleeps all the time, then he wakes up or he's knocked out, and he'll eat somebody. I like it. I can relate. It's good.
Okay.
I guess what's also more disappointing about it too is that I got to the first, like, we'll call it a boss fight. There's like a Batman area, and he's kind of the first like one that you kind of have a run-in with. It's not really a boss fight per se, but it's you basically going through like a haunted house essentially with Batman being the one stalking you, like as if you were on the other side of what you did in Arkham. And it's kind of terrifying and great. Like, I love it. You just like are looking around for him, and then you just like see him fly in front of your face, and that character is like knocked out now, so you have to do the other one. And
that's cool.
It's very, very cool. The Green Lantern stuff is kind of like the big first boss thing, and I've been kind of slowly working my way towards him. I don't generally care about the Green Lantern, but like the way they use him is pretty cool as well. Yeah, I don't know. It's a shame that I probably won't play a whole lot more of this game because I think it has some really cool set pieces and ideas in there, but it's so boring to play that I just don't really care.
Did you play Arkham Knight? Or not Arkham Knight, Gotham Knight?
Oh, never mind, Gotham Knights.
If you were gonna play one of these 2, I would say Gotham Knights is probably the one you should do.
Oh, that's a bummer, because I don't think that game's very good.
It's about the same, I would say, but I think I like the characters more in that.
I think I'll agree with Paul on that. I played through Gotham Knights and the bit I played of Suicide Squad. I'm like, maybe Gotham Knights, because it feels like they're more co-op friendly.
And I think those characters are just more interesting mechanically too. These ones are very samey in a lot of ways, and that's probably because of the looter shooter thing, where you basically can pick up the same types of guns at some point.
I mean, they're both looter shooters in the grand scheme of things. So.
Yeah, that's true. Or you could play both of them and be a psycho. That's a thing you could do. You could play both. Yeah. That's all I've been doing, though. Sean is dead, apparently. So, John, what did you play?
I love the 1,000-yard stare that his thing froze on.
Oh, that's so funny.
I'm not really playing. Oh, there we go. Is he back? Oh,
there he is.
I don't know what's going on, but okay.
It was a really funny freeze frame you had, though.
Okay, great.
Yeah. I guess I'm up next. So I'm not really playing much in my spare time, just across as usual. So game clearing, we started to do 2 different games. I decided on a whim because of the new Dead Rising 1 remake. I decided to play Dead Rising 1.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And as I'm playing it, I'm like, oh, I remember why I love this series so much. And I'm also like, oh, now I know why they want to remake this.
Sure.
I forgot how much jank is in that first one.
Did they already do like a quasi remaster or a port?
They re-released it on PS4 and Xbox One. Like
that was
playing
a
the
port,
PS4
though,
version.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. It's PC, PS4, Xbox One.
It's just like a prettier version, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's still the same game. The font's still tiny. Like they literally did not try to fix the font. It's still somehow tiny. I'm impressed and like concerned.
Interesting.
So I almost like I think when they announced that Dead Rising the PC version was like $5. And I'm like, yeah, maybe for $5 do it. Otherwise, I'd say wait for the remake, because I'm sure there's a bunch of things they're gonna fix. Because I forgot how bad the Survivor AI is in the first game. It's really bad in the first game.
Yeah, they'll just kind of stop like all the time, right?
Yeah. You're supposed to apparently like there's 2 ways of telling them to move. There's like literally they press the button where they tell them to come to you, and there's like tell them to go over there. Apparently that's the way I should be doing it. It's just yelling at them to go somewhere else.
My most core Dead Rising memory is 2. Trying to get this achievement where you had to have like 7 or 8 people following you at once.
Oh yeah, the Frank the Pimp achievement.
Oh,
well, I think that one was specifically girls, but
yeah.
I think this was just like a certain number. I could have been misremembering, but the way that I went about doing it was I'm gonna beat everyone at poker, because once you beat them at poker, they'll like follow you afterwards. So there's like a bunch of people at the table. I probably spent like 3 hours in my dorm room playing shitty poker on Dead Rising 2 and I was playing co-op, so it was just me and my friend just in a party chat trying to beat these people so we could save their freaking lives from the zombies. It took so long.
Yeah, that sounds about right. My core Dead Rising memory was last year when I bought it again on Wii, because that game is just a reskin.
Why did you play Chop Till You Drop? Why did you do that?
Because it's Resident Evil 4. It's the exact same engine, and it's so funny.
Chop Till You Drop?
Yeah, so they made a Wii remake, demake, whatever you want to call it. So they made a Wii version of Dead Rising 1.
Yeah.
And it exists.
It's based on the same engine
like,
as the Resident Evil 4 on Wii thing, where you stop and it plays exactly like that game. It's great.
And of course, because it's the Wii, it couldn't handle as many zombies. So I think like the zombie load is like maybe like a quarter of what it is on the 360 or something like that.
It's fantastic. It's so weird.
Oh, lovely.
What a weird game.
It's referred to as like a demake essentially.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
that's pretty funny.
And it came out after the original, right? By like a year or 2.
Something like that.
It must have, because the first one was like 360
launch practically. It was pretty close to launch.
Yeah.
And the Wii wasn't out for a year after that, so.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, playing that on stream. We're going to continue that next week. And I'm also playing through Metroid Prime 3 Corruption for the first time.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Is that on Wii?
That is on Wii. It's Wii exclusive. Okay. That is a Wii game. That is extremely a Wii game. Like, I don't know how
a remaster of 2 for the Switch yet, or am I making that up?
Nope.
Okay.
Everyone keeps thinking there's gonna be one, but they haven't announced one yet.
That's probably why I'm getting confused. Is probably just people shouting about it every Nintendo Direct, and I'm misremembering if it's
the
real or
rumor
not.
everyone expected was, oh, they're gonna remake Prime 1, 2, and 3, and then when 4 comes out, everyone's just gonna you can play through all 4 on the Switch, and they only did 1 so far.
Right. Okay. How's 3 going?
It reminds me why I don't go back and play Wii games that often, because I forgot how much I hate motion controls and hate like all the things they make you do. Like, oh, put your arm towards the Wiimote, the screen, turn it, pull it back, and then do that like 3 or 4 times, and then little things like that, or like shake the nunchuck to do the whip motion, but you got to make sure you shake it a specific way, otherwise it doesn't read it.
Did it not have like Wii Pro controller support or whatever that one was called?
It is
Classic
very
controller?
specifically designed for motion controls, extremely specifically.
Cool. I do remember the ads where it was like people jumping behind couches and stuff.
Yeah, no, you don't have to physically move at all. Yeah, no, this it is just Wiimote nunchuck. So
okay,
but it's interesting. I don't like the main gimmick of the game, which is hyper mode. At any point in the game, you can hold down the plus button and you'll basically inject one of your energy tanks into you, and you'll go into hyper mode where you have 25 seconds of invincibility, and you can just fire a bunch of like phase-on shots. But once you do, like, I think someone said there's like 25 shots ish, like then it wears off. But if you wait long enough in it, you'll get into corruption mode, where if you let the meter fill, you die. But as long as you're firing, it doesn't fill up. So then you basically get like free shots for like another 10 seconds. So it's like this weird mishmash of that. But like the issue I have is it literally is A, invincibility. Like you cannot get hurt when you're in the mode. B, it's overpowered. And C, the game really wants you to use it. Like it is not optional most of the time.
Okay.
So there's just a bunch of points where it's just, like I had a boss fight last night where the only way to kill him was to go into hyper mode and shoot these specific targets on him, but I ran out of E-tanks. So I basically had to wait around for him to do any move possible that I could grind some health off of to get my tanks back, and then attempt it again, and then I still didn't win that fight. I had to redo the fight. But like there's like weird little quirks with it that just rub me the wrong way. I don't know. I'm not enjoying it. It's probably going to be my least favorite of the 3 Prime games at this point.
That include Hunters?
I haven't played Hunters yet.
Does that include what was there was not a recent one.
Federation
what is the
Force.
most recent one?
If you're going to count Federation Force, it's Federation Force. Otherwise, it's Metroid Prime 3 or Prime Pinball, one of the two.
Federation Force is what I was thinking of. I know nothing about that game.
That game is basically co-op shooter. I don't even remember what to compare it to at the time. I forget.
Okay. And the only Hunters I've played was the free demo.
Yeah, First Hunt.
Yeah, I played some multiplayer of that, and I don't remember anything about it really.
Yeah, no, I might try that one out at some point, but I know that one was heavily designed for like using like the thumb nub that the original model of the DS came with. So you just like put your thumb there and you'd be moving around to control it, because like your aiming is all controlled with the touchscreen.
The aiming, yeah, that was very early on the DS of like, let's throw things at the wall and see what sticks.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how far in the game I am currently. I think I got 30% of the items in the game, so I'm gonna just use that as a marker for assuming that's how far in the game I am. It's okay. I mean, it's still a Prime game, so it's still decent at worst. But like, yeah, I think it's just because of specifically it's a Wii game, and specifically what they want out of it is just I'm just not meshing with it. It's not. It feels like I really enjoyed 1. I really enjoyed Prime 2, except for the ending. And Prime 3 is just like, it's kind of fighting me. It feels a lot more linear for the most part. It just is not meshing with me as well as the other 2 did.
Sure, yeah.
And that's basically what I've been playing.
Okay, I played a few things. I played through Alan Wake's DLC, Alan Wake 2's DLC, Night Springs.
There's some crazy
super
stuff
enjoyable.
There. Yeah.
Very fun. They're having so much fun with that universe, which is great. I think it's an awesome little package.
Yeah.
Can't wait for more of that, obviously. So.
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil stuff, but yeah, it's
hard to talk about
weird.
without like getting into that sort of stuff for sure. Yeah.
The last mission was super weird. Like that just went to some weird places. that you don't expect.
Very Frog Fractions like in a lot of ways, I would say. Just the kind of like expectations of kind of being played with.
Okay, I could see that. Sure. I also just like that they're doing more with that character.
They do a lot. That's an important character, apparently. Like really important.
Well, it's also kind of hard to tell how much of this stuff is like canonical. Like, is this actually happen, or is this just like weird? It's in the dark space, so it's not actually happening. It doesn't actually matter. It's just they're doing a goofy side story, or is this like so that's
it's very
the thing.
fun.
It's like they could easily just like never talk about it again, or base like a whole thing about it. Like, who knows?
Yeah, exactly.
I also played through all of Case of the Golden Idol. That came to Game Pass this week.
I've been wanting to play that. I've heard really good things about it.
Yeah, it's so good. Oh my gosh. If you like Return to the Oberdin, you got to play this game.
Oh, sold me. All right, I'm looking it up.
So it's on Game Pass now, huh?
I thought you had mentioned it before, but I am not personally familiar with it.
This came out last year. I even remember we were watching Game Awards and it got nominated for something, and I was like, man, why don't I have this? And I bought it at that exact moment. Never booted it up. And then it came to Game Pass, and I was like, okay, I guess I'll finally do it now. So I played through it and like.
Sorry. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I don't even remember what I was about to say, so please.
You were just talking about how you played through it. This is one of those games that universally every single person that's played it has nothing bad to say about it. It's like overwhelmingly people are saying this is a great game, and I just never looked it up. I never bothered.
Yeah, so it's a deduction game. You are set there, unlike Return to the Oberdin, which is kind of like a big whole environment, and you're kind of going along figuring out. These are like kind of little vignettes, specifically chapters, and they kind of just like freeze frame, almost like comic style of something's happened, and then you basically just get information. And you have to figure out, okay, who killed this person? There's usually always like a death, and why did they kill them? And it's really about looking at like, okay, this person is wearing these, so it means they must be part of this group. But hang on, there was someone tied up outside, so they could have stolen their clothes. And it's just deduction after deduction. I will say, if you are playing the Game Pass version, don't do what I did and play it on the Xbox, because the controls with a controller, they suck. I was like wrestling with it the whole time trying to. If you just have a mouse, it would have been so much easiasier. There's also it just
looks like an adventure game. Like looking at it on the Steam page right now.
Visually, yeah, it does look like an adventure game, but it is 100%. You're going into like someone's pockets and like, okay, they have a note, so now I know this person's first name, and then each vignette will be something like, we need you to name all the characters, we need you to name everything they were drinking, and then here's the scenario, you need to fill in the blanks, and it'll be like, blank blank entered the room at blank o'clock and blanked this other person, and you need to figure out, okay, should it be stabbed? Should it be like hung? What stuff like that. So you're kind of picking up nouns and words just from the scene, and then you can piece them in almost kind of Mad Lib style to determine what actually happened. Similar to if Return to the Oberdin, where you are coming up with names, and it's like, okay, now I can put the name in this blank spot, so on and so forth. Or even Chance of Sonar, but that one's just hyper specific to like words, but it's you picking up the words, and then, okay, now I can put the words into this spot, I can put the letters into this spot as you go through it and stuff like that. So decently short. I probably took 5-6-ish hours, depending on whether or not you get stuck. Really great hint system. They'll break it down like, do you want to know about like the people that were in this room, and they kind of they don't just give you the answers, they go like, you should consider this concept. It's like, people can change clothes. Like, did you notice that anyone has blood on them? Stuff like that. Like the hints are kind of really well written. And then they also just have once you've filled in a page, and it'll mention like, hey, you have more than 2 errors on this. And it'll just say that somewhere. So you're like, okay, I know I'm pretty off. It'll say you have 2 or less errors. And it's like, okay, so it's probably down to one of these. I'm pretty confident about all these other ones. And then you can just select like, hey, please show me every single one of them that's wrong. And then you just know how off base you are. So it's actually really good at kind of hand-holding you if you do get stuck that way. And that's obviously completely optional. So Case of the Golden Idol is really cool. It has 2 things of DLC, which I haven't played, but I will probably pick them up shortly. They've also already announced
they're on Steam right now, but if they're on Game Pass, then yeah.
The DLC is not on Game Pass, but the main game is. So I think it's like $5 per pack, and that gets you like 3 more vignettes each. And they have already announced the sequel that they are working on. So there's a lot of Case of the Golden Idol if you are interested, and I definitely recommend it. Then I played a couple demos, which I couldn't quite tell if these are. I don't think they're public or if they've been out there. They might have been demos that were at Summer Game Fest, but I don't know. The person just sent me codes for some demos. So from Devolver, I played Skate Stories demo. That's that cool skateboarding one where you are a demon made of glass and pain.
Yeah.
This is like the first level of it. It was about half an hour. This game is so cool. The vibes are so cool. So it plays very similarly to kind of like a Tony Hawk downhill jam, where you're kind of like always going forward down the hall. That it might get bigger. This is just the first level, and obviously you can ollie, you can kickflip. There's even like boss fight or like boss battle style things where when you do tricks, you do damage to the boss, and the boss is just kind of moving or hovering around, so you need to like keep up with them and then do a kickflip underneath them to do damage. The soundtrack is great. It's like it's more lo-fi chill than you'd think it is, because that whole thing just screams like metal, but it's not that. I was really digging the soundtrack. But anyways, you're a demon that all of a sudden decides I want to eat the moon. And you need to like skateboard well enough to be able to eat the moon.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it's just such a. The vibes are just so cool. It also gave me vibes of kind of Neon White in terms of like, okay, the gameplay involves a lot of like momentum-based stages, but then there's this hub world filled with just like really bizarre NPCs that you can kind of hang out in and unlock some stuff like that. So, I'm so excited for that for sure. And then the other demo I played this week was Neva, which is from the Grease developers.
Right.
So Grease was kind of just a side-scrolling, almost walking simulator. You were just kind of jumping around. There wasn't really anything besides jumping and like interacting with buttons or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
This is a character action game, like a 2D character action game, which was news to me because I didn't get that from the trailer, because the trailer's pretty like low-key, melancholy vibes. I will say, absolutely gorgeous again. You know, it's the same people who did Grease. Grease is one of the most gorgeous looking games. This is right up there. Also haunting, kind of creepy. Like it gets dark. Like you're fighting enemies now, and they're like gross, like ink. Like I was getting some almost kind of like Inside vibes of like weird arms pulling people away. Heartbreaking though. So Neva is your like dog wolf companion that you're kind of constantly like calling, and if it misses a jump, you can give it a hug. That thing will often get grabbed and start getting pulled into the darkness, and you have to like defeat the enemies and before you can like save it from the grasp. Like the number of times you hear a dog whimper in like pain is heartbreaking.
Sure. Yeah. I remember seeing the trailer for that and just being like, either that kid or that thing dies, I'm out. I don't care. Like I don't want. I know the ending. I'll tell it to you. That thing that you love dies. I've played these games before.
Well, that was the whole thing with Last Guardian, right? It's like one of these two people are not making it to the credits.
It's the same thing. Same thing. Yep.
Yeah. It is so gorgeous. So from the get-go, you get a double jump and a dodge that you can use in the air for an air dash. Need I say more?
That's good.
Absolutely.
Game of the year. Game of the year.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very excited for Neva. Again, I played probably 45 minutes up to the first boss fight, finished that. And yeah, I'm very excited for that. Both those games, I believe, are slated to come out later this year, so you should keep those on your radar. And with that, let's do some news. Not a huge news week. This first one's definitely like the biggest story. Game Pass is getting a price increase.
Hooray.
Yeah.
As well as like they're kind of make a new tier.
Tiers.
They're kind of breaking up the tier stuff. Like, so, okay, let's go through this one at a time. First off, Game Pass Ultimate, which is the thing most people have. It's the thing that gets you everything.
Yeah.
Going up by $3. This is American dollars. It was $17. It's going to be $20 a month. And then the confusing part now is they're introducing, is it standard? Yeah, Game Pass Standard.
Yep.
Meaning they're going to have 3 tiers now. which immediately made me think about PlayStation Plus, how they have 3 tiers, and that was just kind of confusing. And every time I subscribe, it's like, okay, which one do I actually need? Um, so Game Pass Standard is you get access to the catalog. You don't get day one titles
or the cloud gaming. Neither of
right.
those.
No, I was just saying, or you don't get the cloud. So theoretically, obviously, so this is going into effect in September, obviously because of Call of Duty, right?
Yeah.
So if you have Game Pass Core or Standard, which again, Core is their lowest bottom one, which is basically just the replacement for Xbox Live Gold because that no longer exists.
Yes.
And that has like a selection of the overall catalog, like a much smaller selection. Usually from like the first party studios. But anyways, I don't like no one really has Core. If you're getting Game Pass, you're getting one of the other ones.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So if you have Standard, you won't get Call of Duty when that gets put into it later this year until probably some later date. They haven't specified what exactly makes a title a new title or how long it needs to have been before they'll put it into the lower tiers. Yeah, kind of a bummer overall. Mainly like
I
my
mean, this was
thoughts
going to
are
happen eventually, right? Like everyone was expecting at some point that it was going to keep going up.
Yeah, I think it's the tier changes is super consumer unfriendly and obfuscating kind of what you're getting. I think that's, at least for me, that's what I hate. I was kind of expecting to have to pay more eventually because that's unsustainable what they were offering for that price before.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look across entertainment industries, every subscription's going up, and I think there's just a general fatigue from everyone with subscription prices. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this is just not like a great look for them. For a company that's trying to like get some goodwill back, it's just not a great look. But obviously they needed to do this before Call of Duty got put in there.
Yeah.
To get the biggest bang for their buck, right?
Mm-hmm.
I am with you, Paul, though, that I think the messaging around Game Pass is just it's muddier now because this whole time it's been day one. We have our games are going in there day one. Sony doesn't do that. Sony's not even hinting that they're going to do that day one, and now they can't say that. Now they have to say day one asterisk.
If you have the right pass.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. I should also mention PC Game Pass is also getting a bump up. That's going up $2 American from 10 to 12.
But nothing else changes really with that because PC doesn't really offer.
So theoretically, if you are using Game Pass and you're a PC player, you're actually kind of in the best boat because you're still getting day one titles. You're getting access to everything for the cheapest price. It's just people that are primarily on the Xbox that are kind of having to pay a significant more and have to deal with all these tiers. So like Paul, do you have Ultimate or do you have PC?
I have Ultimate because we have the console in the living room as well. So this way it just makes sense that we can jump back and forth or play at the same time or whatever.
Yeah. And I mean, so like, yeah, I'm also with you and with like, I knew this was going to go up in price at some point. I'm still happy to pay for it because I play a lot of these games and
yeah, for me, it's easy. Like I'm just going to be paying more, but if I was somebody who was just like, I was on their basic thing now, like I'd probably have to do some research on what I want and don't want and how much I'm willing to pay. And honestly, that sucks. That's super user unfriendly.
Yeah. Like my recommendation, if you're not like me, because right now I have like a year or two stacked just because of like codes I've redeemed or whatever.
You could still do that someone who's right now before they do this, I think.
You can still stack. I think there's even some messages about here and there. From September 12th, that's when everything goes into effect. Microsoft will only allow existing users to stack Game Pass for console for up to 13 months.
Oh, okay. Sure.
I think if you already have it stacked, you're fine, but like going up anyway. So I think the thing is, if you're on a monthly plan, like you don't have anything stacked, I think the way to go is you just get standard until they put a first party title in there that you want.
Yep.
Which at the moment, Xbox doesn't have a lot of those. Yep. For 2024, there's been Hellblade 2.
Is that really it?
So, I think. Am I wrong?
Wow. I don't know. I mean, I'll defer to you. I don't really keep abreast of Xbox specific stuff.
Nothing's coming to mind because Forza was late last year.
Yeah.
So Call of Duty will be this fall. That'll be one, right? But
that'll be a huge one, to be fair. But yeah,
absolutely, for sure. But I think if you're trying to be like, what's the cheapest way to do this? You just get standard.
Yeah.
Enjoy, because you get the entire catalog except for day one titles, and then when a day one title comes around, increase your thing for that month, and then put it back down. Like you just kind of do the whole like. This happens with Netflix all the time. People just kind of wait for a few shows to get dumped on there, subscribe for 1 month, binge 3 shows, cancel it. Yeah. And I'm starting to think maybe that's what you got to start doing with Game Pass if you're not taking advantage of everything.
That's kind of what I do anyway, though. Like if there's a game or two that I want, I re-up Game Pass. I cancel it every month or two when there's nothing I want. Because why not? Why pay them for nothing?
Well, in my scenario, it's how I have to play online, so I need it for online Xbox.
As your main thing, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so it just makes it muddier, which is a bummer. But I'm still happy to give them $20 a month because I'm getting that value out of it.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe not for everyone.
Yeah, if you have a PC that can run stuff that you want, that's probably the best way to go. But
it's probably the cheapest. Yeah, if you're not using like I don't think you get cloud with the PC, do you?
I don't actually know because
I don't know either.
Yeah,
because I have Ultimate. Yeah, not a ton of people use cloud. I'm like one of the few people who I know who consistently does, but so you'll have to kind of just shop around, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Over on the PlayStation side, they have said that they are coming to Tokyo Game Show. This is really only noteworthy because they just keep not going to conventions.
Oh, sure.
But they've said they're coming to Tokyo Game Show. So the question comes up is like, why do you think they're picking this show? Like they've already said they don't have any like big titles coming out this year. I know we know Astrobot. And Concord will be exclusive to them, which I believe goes into public beta
tomorrow.
Yeah, I think it's private beta tomorrow and then public beta the week after.
It's something like that. Something's happening tomorrow, but I don't remember which. Yes.
Yeah. Well, they announced like today that PS Plus members can now get access to it, and then I thought it was coming tomorrow, but maybe it's.
I'll be checking that out for sure. I need to know.
Anyway, that's 2 games. I can't imagine that's the reason they're going to Tokyo Game Show. So let's speculate.
I mean, the thing that I'm thinking. Like Capcom releasing another Resident Evil. They've already I could see them doing a teaser there.
That's Capcom. PlayStation wouldn't have to show up for that.
Yeah, PlayStation has shit all. Like I don't know why they would be. They've said as much that this year is going to be light, so I don't know why else they would go.
Yeah, that's baby, why... it's time. Strike while the iron's hot.
I did just buy PS5 like a year ago, so why not? Why not?
There's that rumored Pro. Like this would line up with that, right?
Yeah.
So maybe that. Who knows? I don't know.
Portal 2. Let's just release another one. See what happens.
Not even their IP. They're just going for it.
They're just bringing a copy of Portal 2.
Oh no, the PlayStation Portal, the stupid little thing.
The Battle of the Series. I'm like, damn,
I went with the game.
Yeah. No. Just like, this kind of flopped or whatever. Let's just release another one and see if the public's ready now.
I don't know if the Portal's flopping. Like I keep seeing it being like sold out, and I don't know if it's because maybe they're not producing a ton.
They're probably not producing a ton, but yeah, like I always hear people struggling to find one when they want one.
That's so weird. Interesting.
I would love to see sales data, which they're only going to put that out if it's doing like really well. So maybe that's kind of an indicator. But I would just love to know like what percentage of PS5 owners have a Portal. Do you think it is higher or lower than 10?
10?
10%.
How many systems has the PS5 sold?
It has to be higher if they're hard to find in any regard. It would have to be even 11%. Like it has to be higher.
You think it's higher than 10%?
I think so. Probably not by much, but probably.
Okay, so you're saying under 20?
Yeah, I think so.
So less than a fifth of owners have a Portal? What do you think, John?
I gotta know how many PS5s are sold because
that's a good
I only see this thing selling like a couple million at best. So like I'd say, yeah, PS5 has sold 50 million units as of 7 months ago.
So that would be over 10 million units. Paul, you think the Portal has sold over 10 million?
Over 10 million?
Sorry, that would be 20%. So you're saying over 5 million, somewhere between 5 and 10 million?
Worldwide, I could see that. I could see maybe around there.
That seems high to me.
It's, I mean, honestly, the fact that you have one seems high to me because that thing seems useless to me. But I am obviously not the demographic for it.
I mean, it is high for me. I have 6 devices in this apartment that can remote play my PS5.
I was about to say, do not tell me you have 6 portals sitting around. I have 6 of them right here.
All right, John, what's your guess? Over under 10%.
Out of 50 million, there's no way it sold 5 million. Well, it might have. I'm gonna say under. I'm gonna say under.
This was a good question. 10 was like the perfect question. Yeah,
10% was.
It's a bummer. I can't be like, here's the answer, guys. Like, we'll just. Oh.
Yeah, I just started digging around, seeing if I could find sales numbers, and all I could find were posts about people saying like, "Hey, this thing's sold out. Does anyone know where to get one?"
Well, hopefully one day we get sales data. That'd be fun to know. And that's PlayStation at Tokyo Game Show. Okay, some sad news. Kotaku Australia is shutting down.
Oh, okay.
I understand they're not actually like connected to Kotaku. It's like a different parent company and everything. They just share the name for some reason.
Like the same branding or something.
Yeah. But just another one, pour one out, Kotaku Australia. You'll remember Kotaku Australia from such articles as that PlayStation 1 we just talked about. That was a Kotaku Australia article.
Oh, okay.
All right, and last one over on the Nintendo side. What do you guys think about this Emio thing?
Oh my god. All right, so do you hear about the rumors that are currently going around about this, or
no?
I have. Can I put in the joke I heard from Twitter first before we start talking about stuff?
Yeah.
It's a Waluigi game.
Okay, there you go. There you go.
I would love that. I would play that day one.
With content warning for suicide, Waluigi deserves it.
Waluigi does not deserve suicide.
No, he deserves a game with that kind of content warning.
Oh, man, sure.
What an odd sentence.
Yeah.
No, that's what we do here, I guess.
Okay, John, do you want to explain what some of this stuff is?
Okay, so one of the rumors that was first off, Emio is this weird video that Nintendo just tweeted out, put on their YouTube channel. It's just a dude in a paper bag with a smiley face on it, just standing there being creepy, and then it just is like Emio or something like that in like text in Japanese kanji, like on the back.
15 seconds long.
Yeah. So rumors started going around of like, oh, what is this? It looks like they're doing like a mature rated horror game. And then some people figured out that it might be Bloober Team working on it, because apparently they're working on something with Nintendo. Linebeck is saying in chat right now that the Bloober Team rumors have been debunked now, but I wasn't aware of that at the time. Yeah, the current rumor is they're just working on some weird mature rated horror game, but we don't know who's working on it.
Definitely weird. There's not much about it. This just kind of made more of a stir than I would expect from a random video. I guess because of the way they put it out.
I've just seen the screenshot.
It's very unlike Nintendo to do that.
Yeah.
It's also just like a genre that's unlike Nintendo, so I think that kind of adds to that.
Yeah.
What do you think the chances are this is like actually worth talking about when they fully reveal it, or if it's just going to be like nothing?
My gut check is saying it's probably going to be nothing in the grand scheme of things, but I would love to see like Nintendo publish like an extremely well received horror game.
It'd be cool.
Actually, looking at the update in this Kotaku article that mentions the Bloober stuff, the first update was them tying it to Bloober, and then there was a second update. A spokesperson for Bloober Team declined to comment on whether Project M is connected to the Nintendo Emio teaser. For Project M, we will tell more about the project in a proper time. So,
weird.
I don't know if it's been debunked, because I feel like if it wasn't them, they would have just come out and said, no, that's not us.
Weird.
Oh, there you go. All right, that's news. Let's do some questions. topdownperspective@gmail.com is the email address. At TDP Podcast on Twitter, the Discord channel, or John's P.O. Box. Paul, do you want to start us off?
Yeah, we have episode titles.
Hooray!
Do it.
All right. From
how bad our memory is.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
like a quiz show, basically, at this point.
Kind of.
March 21st, I sat down in the chair and broke it.
Oh, I know what this is.
Okay, I have no idea.
No idea.
This was me at GDC trying to play that wheelchair racing game.
Oh.
And then I sat down and stopped working.
You're right. Sean went to GDC, and among the award events and booths he went to the Alt Control booth where he tried a Coca-Cola shaking game and a kart racing one controlled with a wheelchair. He described how upon sitting down, the left wheel no longer registered his input and left after seeing BRB glues drying on screen. I don't remember that at all. Was I there for that one? Because that doesn't sound familiar to me, but I mean, it was a while ago, so who knows?
Yeah, I don't remember.
March 28th. Weren't you playing Another Code in Italy?
Oh, that's the tweet that you made that that they got excited about.
The Nintendo PR person randomly said to me out of nowhere, and I was like, who are you?
Context was, John started playing Another Code Recollection, which made Sean recall a time he had played it while staying in Italy months before, had tweeted about the picture he took on the train, led him to being asked about PR person in the Nintendo booth he had attended in GDC previously, which he found very surprising. April 4th. I think it's obvious what Luigi's going to use, and I ain't touching that. What weapon Luigi's going to use, and I ain't touching that.
What?
I have no idea.
Repeat that?
I think it's obvious what weapon Luigi's going to use, and I ain't touching that.
Is this a penis joke? I have no idea what this is.
I don't know either. Context is from a question asking what is the strongest first-party Nintendo character they could beat in a fight. Sean brought up various options, including Luigi. He clarified that none of them were allowed to use weapons, and that they would both be naked with a cloth.
What?
What?
Make it like an even playing field, probably, I guess. I don't remember this conversation.
I don't either.
I was not here for this episode, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
April 11th. And that's Danny DeVito, like he's shrunk because he's old now.
No idea.
It starts with an ellipses, a ... So it's, and that's Danny DeVito, like he's shrunk because he's old now. I don't have any idea.
No idea.
Nope.
A Monopoly movie featuring Margot Robbie was announced, and the host started discussing its logistics, such as how in normal conversation one would say do not pass go, as well as its cast. John proposed a young Monopoly man be played by John Cena, and that after putting on his suit, it would flash forward to his older version, leading Sean to say this.
Okay,
Hell
sure.
Yeah. Again, I would still watch this.
It makes sense now, kind of, but I don't remember it at all. Okay. April 18th. Now we have existential crisis questions.
It seems like something Paul would have said. I don't know if I'm here for this. I might have left for my trip.
You might not have been here. I don't remember either way.
Existential crisis questions.
Wait, you're right. This wasn't when Sean was here, because I think... didn't John, didn't you and I do a thing where, like, all the questions were just, like, how do I, like, get over law? Like, just, there's weird questions that are just,
it was like
what
a
happened?
weird list of
what
questions.
happened to all the, like, normal questions you guys sent in? I remember there was 1 week where it was, like, really dour. It must have been from that.
Jeez.
It's gotta be that.
Missed this one.
It's gotta be that. Context was a question came up asking how long the hosts were themselves and not themselves regarding personal achievements, memories, and anything that could define their identity. Basically, like what makes you you or whatever. Some weird philosophical shit. I remember that question now. This surprised them, which prompted me apparently to say, "Beg for the genie watching poop in your hand videos," or questions to come back and freaking out. Yeah, okay, I do remember that. April 25th. If you start off a conversation saying, "Listen, I'm not a pervert, but," you're just saying you're a pervert. This is Sean.
I'm pretty sure I'm not here for that.
No, really?
I think I'm in your. It's end of April, beginning of May. No, maybe it was May. I don't know. I do believe that statement though.
This is a Sean statement. If you start a conversation, "Listen, I'm not a pervert, but," you're just saying you're a pervert. That is a Sean statement.
Yeah, it does sound
I think
like
that's true.
Sean would say.
Okay, I just looked
They
up.
haven't gone on my trip yet.
I looked up the context. Yeah, I don't. This is weird. I'll just say it here. John started playing Heroin Anthem Zero and talking about how it was a good game, but didn't know how lewd it was at the time of streaming it.
Oh, right. Yeah.
This led to me apparently going on a tangent about how cool Metroidvanias I couldn't recommend or talk about due to them being porny. And concluding Sean saying
that
this.
specific one,
Yeah.
the Switch one, double Switch.
No, yeah, I do remember this conversation. Okay, so my trip was a little later in May. It wasn't April. Okay.
Okay. May 2nd. I don't put anything on the internet I wouldn't want to see in the front page of Reddit. There's an alternative title. This is you.
That's something I say all the time. That's like one of my life rules.
This is you. And it's because we were making fun of a whole bunch of dudes who, with their phones, were saying, "Please uncensor boobs in Stellar Blade," and just putting their face right out there, begging for lewd.
Yeah, I remember that conversation. John, I don't think you were on this episode.
No, I was at Coliseum at this point.
Yep.
Okay.
That's what it was, because we were laughing so hard about these people are literally just there asking for this shit.
And they're there with like a katana in their garage, and it's like, this is not a W, my guy.
It's Star Wars kid all over again.
Context. Paul started playing Stellar Blade, and outside of its gameplay and story, brought up the controversy surrounding the video, petitions of people complaining about the amount of cleavage present, finding this very cringy. Sean stated this is one of his core rules to live by. The alternative title was, and there's the title for the episode, "You're Welcome," which that's way too generic. Let me quickly read it here. Rumors about the features to be included in the Nintendo Switch 2 report from an unnamed manufacturer claimed they got to feel the console by putting their hand in an opaque box. Sean found it weird. Said, "If I was an unnamed manufacturer, I would absolutely want to feel that Nintendo Switch 2. Okay. I don't remember that, but okay.
You don't remember? That was they said we have the new Switch. You can feel it, but you're not allowed to look at it. So you got to like feel it inside a box. It was the weirdest idea.
Yeah. Final one that we have here for this go round is May 16th. For once in my life, I was proud to call them my friends. Oh, I know what this is.
I have no idea. I think I'm gone at this point.
You were gone. This is two friends of mine made a game for an indie jam at that time.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and the game was actually good, was the thing. Nice. Context. Paul's friends worked on a game called Power Surge that he tried to shit on as what friends do jokingly, but ended up really liking it to the point of speedrunning it. This ended in him saying this in retrospect. Thank you, as always.
Thank you for sending in episode titles.
Yes.
BGC Kenny writes, "You are now walking the green mile on your way to execution. However, the warden stops you. He has arranged a way for you to try and get out of this and become a free man with all charges dropped. It's not a guarantee. All you have to do is beat him in a game of Mario Party. Here are the rules. It'll be you, him, and 2 CPU players on hard difficulty. You don't have to win first place, but just have to beat the warden. You get to choose the Mario Party, but the board will be randomly selected, and the number of turns in the game will be set to the maximum amount. You take the deal and Mario Party for your life. If yes, which Mario Party are you choosing?"
I mean,
yes, and Superstars.
I think if you don't, you're a bad human. You should always try to be fighting for your life every day you wake up. So yes, I take this deal.
There's no reason not to take the deal.
Of course.
Because you're dead anyway, so you might as well. Unless you have some like staunch thing of like, there's no way I'm letting the last thing I ever do be lose at Mario Party.
You know what? You might have, you swayed me. No.
Yeah, like maybe you want to go out on some kind of W. It's like, you know what? I woke up, I had a great breakfast. I want that to be my last thing.
I had a great breakfast in fucking the Green Mile.
Yeah.
Death Row.
Honestly, these games are luck, so I say yes, and then I look the warden dead in the eye and I say, you pick.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, I don't care either way. Give me whatever. Superstars is the most recent one.
Yeah, right? It's the one that has like all the maps from like the other games.
That's the one.
The worst one. Is there a Game Boy Advance one?
Yes, that's a single player one basically.
Okay, that one.
There's no. I made a single.
There's Mario Party e-reader. Play the card game.
Oh man,
that is so sad.
The card game where you have to scan the cards and then you can play a little mini game. That's how you have to do it.
I'm just thinking of like a child doing that. That is so depressing.
Yeah, that child was me, Sean. I have 2 copies of that. One for my childhood and one I don't even know how I got. I just have copies. 2 of them.
One for me and my friend.
Yeah, it's like anyone want to play? I got a second copy. Anyone?
Oh, it's so ironic. I love it. Rasterman7 writes, what's a game soundtrack that has lived rent-free in your head after listening to it for the first time, and go back to it now and again whenever you need to lift your spirits up? This is Scott Pilgrim versus the World, the game. Just great time. I still listen to that soundtrack.
Bionic Commando Rearmed, Payday 2, basically anything Simon Vicklin's touched.
Payday 2, yeah.
Yeah. Or if I'm in like a bit of a mood to get a little like I just want some music or just something like that, I'll do like the Burnout 3 or Burnout Revenge.
Oh, Danny B's music. So like the original Binding of Isaac and Meat Boy, like I love his stuff too.
That's probably Shatter.
Shatter's really good too. I played that the Netflix remastered or whatever the other day on my phone. That game's really cool, but like I'm not gonna sit and play that for a long time, so I uninstalled it already. But it was fun.
It's on other platforms as well.
Yeah.
So you don't have to use touch controls and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there's way more questions here than I thought. Oops. Suga writes in and says, what is your favorite video game or game mode that can't be played anymore?
Mario 35 is an easy
Mario
layup.
35, yeah. I was also going to say Kid Icarus Uprising's multiplayer was pretty good.
Okay.
Oh, 1 versus 100. I'm going to answer for Sean.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it is 1 versus 100. You're right.
Yeah.
What I was about to say, because Kotaku just put up a list of like, here's a bunch of 360 games that are trapped on there because the 360 is going away.
Yeah.
And Eternal Sonata's on there, and that's a very cool JRPG, but it is absolutely 1 versus 100.
Yeah, that's a really good one, actually.
Hebrew Lantern writes, is Yoshi a horse?
No, he's a dinosaur.
Yeah, he's a dinosaur, so...
Are dinosaurs horses?
He just fulfills the role of a horse.
True.
Like a mount.
He's a mount. Yeah.
Yeah. He's absolutely a mount. But he has kind of like a Pluto vibe where sometimes he gets to eat at the dinner table with the other people.
Sometimes he gets to sit.
Yeah. Bakesler writes, I'm hosting a video game Name That Tune panel next week, basing it off MagFest's version where their categories of video game songs. Some examples include the following. The Devil is a game developer, which is games known for being in development hell. Gotta Go Fast, popular games among the speedrunning community, Press X to Doubt, whodunit games. If you were hosting, what's a fun category you'd want to make sure gets in the panel?
I'd probably say jump and shoot for like all run and gun games. Or you could just be Mega Man specifically, either one.
Sure, okay.
See, the problem is I already do Name That Tune, sort of, for throwing controllers, so I'm like, I don't want to give away my hand.
Yeah, I was gonna say, stop
Yeah.
making us do your homework for you. First of all, I'd probably do something chiptune related. I'm trying to think of a cutesy name.
Okay, here's an easy one. What about songs? You play them backwards. See if you can figure out what they are.
Oh, those are so mean. One of my friends' game shows does that. That's like a
cool.
punishment category. It's rough.
That's a common thing at like bar trivia.
Yeah.
When they have like an audio round, they'll play songs backwards. They'll play like the Simlish version of like current modern like pop songs. That's a fun one too.
Mm.
And they just just don't play the chorus, because then obviously people will be able to pick it up. All right, Dead writes, how short can a 10 out of 10 game be? What is the lowest rating a game with no issue can receive?
I mean, Tetris is pretty short, and most people think that's a 10 out of 10, so.
Sure.
I'm saying if it has no issue, is 10 then, right?
What's the lowest rating a game with no issue can receive? In my opinion, like a 5, right? Because it could be boring, but like it's.
But that's an issue. This doesn't have an issue, so it's not boring.
I thought he meant.
So we're assuming it's a good, fun game.
Like it has no issue.
At that point, it's just the person doesn't like the game, and then that's like A, personal opinion, and B, probably shouldn't penalize the game that much.
If you're saying an issue also includes your opinion, it has to be a 10. If there's literally no issue, there's no reason why it's not a perfect game.
Yeah, well, I think if it's your opinion and you're saying, well, I don't think it's a 10, there must be a reason you are docking at points.
Which is an issue.
I.e., there's an issue. And it could be a totally personal issue. That's totally fine.
I read this as a technical issue. Because technical issue, it's probably 5. Like it's.
I think this is just any issue. So I'm reading it as if there's no issue, it's a 10.
I mean, he could answer. He's in the chat. Just for clarification.
And then how short can a 10 out of 10 game be? I think it can be. I don't think there's a limit. It can be as short as anything. I guess it comes down to the personal opinion. Like if games are too short for you and that's an issue for you, then you're gonna dock it.
Yeah.
But I think that's kind of one of the nice things about like when like a reviewer is getting something for free, is then they can totally just kind of judge it on its own.
It's too perfect can be an issue. Well, then it's not perfect because it was an issue.
This game is too good. I don't believe that it exists. 4 out of 10.
What's your biggest flaw? I care too much. Yeah.
Hayes Hero EX says, if you have to eat 50 nuggets, would you have them with or without sauce? You might choose any number of sauces to do it, and for either choice, you are allowed to have 1 glass of water. I wouldn't do that because I know people that have done that, which I assume is why this question's here. And also, I know that will make me sick. But if I had no choice, I would do it with sauce because at least then there's variety in the flavor.
I still kind of want to enjoy it if I have to, yeah. So sauce.
Aren't you worried that the sauce is going? Like you're eating more. Like this is already going.
It will fill you more because it's more calories, but
sure.
also like your palate sauce. Like okay, I haven't crammed like chicken shredded piece number 30 in my mouth yet.
Do I want to choke and die or sauce?
My taste buds no longer know any flavor other than bland chicken and grease. Please put me out of my misery.
I'm looking at this and I'm like, hell yeah, 50 nuggets. I'll do that. Let's go. Mm-hmm. And I'm wondering if I could do that.
One of my friends actually did this on stream recently. Which is why I assume this came up. He literally raced against his friend who was 16-star speedrunning Mario 64. They wanted to see who could do what faster. Our friend eat 50 nuggets or someone finish a 15-star run of Mario 64 or 16-star run.
Who won?
That run is pretty quick. I wouldn't take that bet.
The Nuggets won, actually.
How long did it take them?
I'm trying to remember. I think it took him less than 15 minutes.
Holy smokes.
The run itself was like 25.
Yeah. I was going to say it's probably less than 20 minutes.
Okay. How did they feel afterward?
Not great.
Of course.
Not great.
Yeah.
But like Like really not great, or just like
he said after the stream he went and lied down on the floor for like 2 hours, or something of that nature. There was definitely a Pyrrhic victory. Like there was not like a parade in his honor or anything. He was like, I'm not moving ever again.
I'm assuming these are like chicken nuggets, just to try and get kind of like a baseline shape.
These are like McDonald's ass chicken nuggets.
Yeah. I think I could do this. I think it would be a bit rough, but I think I could do it. I would not have sauce unless it's hot sauce. I just like hot sauce. I'll put hot sauce on like a lot of food.
Sure.
But I could do this without the sauce. I think the problem would actually be the 1 glass of water, because I think I would just start to get pretty thirsty. But like, I can eat a lot of chicken. I like chicken nuggets a lot, so this does not seem like a bad time.
What's the most you've had?
I would not be dreading.
If you could guess.
I don't know, but I did as a teenager have my friends over for a chicken nugget party, where we just kept making boxes of M&M's chicken nuggets for hours.
Okay, so
I had to have eaten like at least 30.
One thing I do have to say is that when I read this, I'm thinking McDonald's chicken nuggets specifically, and I want to throw up because I've had like a box of 20 of those, and it's the worst. If it's like actual decent meat chicken nuggets you can put in the oven, I think this is way easier.
Man, I'm saying this as someone who does like the chicken nuggets from McDonald's. I don't want to eat 50 chicken nuggets. Oh, no. I'll eat 20 if I'm really fucking hungry. But
I like them enough, but like, 10 is like more than enough of that stuff, because Jesus Christ.
I'm not going to do this, but I'm not going to do this.
Okay. Film it, put it on Patreon.
There you go.
Oh, you should do one of those streams. $1 per every dollar I eat a chicken nugget.
Just a mukbang? Is that what they're called?
Yeah, mukbang.
Mukbang.
Those can make money. Those can make bank.
Yep.
From people that want to see you die on stream. That's true. That's true.
Whose turn is it?
It's you.
Okay. Waste of resources. Is Tingle, the Zelda character, scary?
No. Not even remotely.
Nope.
Not even in like a he is a stranger. He is an old man stranger, and you're a child.
I am not a child, so no. If I was,
in the
maybe.
game, in the game, Link is a child. Almost 9 times out of 10.
Nah.
He does not set off stranger danger. No.
Okay. Would you say he's sad?
As in, like, he is emotionally sad, or he's a sad man, like a pathetic man? Because I feel the answer may be both.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Final question from Fandom Aegis. Ahoy TDP crew. Do villains need their plans to make sense? If it does, and this plan is good on paper, why do they need to be defeated? Could it be because their method is muddy? Their own villainy?
Did a villain write this?
Yeah. Their own villainy not allowing it to work? Or perhaps the plan is more about themselves, their own self-interest. If the plans don't need to make sense, would that make them poorly written? Would it lessen their character?
I think they just answered their own question.
I don't think a villain's plan has to make sense, because sometimes a villain's just insane.
Yeah.
Like the Joker.
Like the Joker. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
But like, you know, standard supervillain probably need to have some logic to their plan.
I will say though, when it's like the Joker scenario, they're less interesting, because then their motivation is just there is none. They're just in like a crazy psycho.
Yeah.
I just want to see the world burn.
Yeah. Whereas like, you know, when I think of like Killmonger and Black Panther, and it's like he was right. So or a lot of the times, like I think of like Batman Begins, Ra's al Ghul, and it's like, okay, he had some good ideas, but he also wanted to kill everyone to like get there, and it's like, well, now you're crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, all the best villains have like a relatable thing where it's just like, I could see how you got to your conclusion, but wiping out all these people is probably not the way to do it.
Yeah.
Yes. I also get cut off in traffic. I have not murdered thousands for it. Yet.
That's why the Paul snap happened.
Yet. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like
too many people.
And then, yeah, like if the plans don't need to make sense, would that make them poorly written? I think that's exactly the case, because then the writers didn't even come up with like why, like a motivation. They were just like, I don't know, this guy's evil because he has a mustache.
They could still be fun, but when they're just as a foil to the main character, and they're like the exact opposite for that sake, they're kind of boring. I agree.
All right, that does it for questions. If you want to send in questions for next week, it's topdownperspective@gmail.com, at TDP Podcast on Twitter, the Discord channel, or John's P.O. Box. What's your game of the week?
Space Marine.
Dead Rising 1.
Mine's Case of the Golden Idol. Thanks, everyone who listened in, and we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.